So I'm going to use a couple of different soldering irons, really because I have them available, and they have different properties. This one is one that I'm particularly fond of. It's a Weller, an old, I think it's called a TCP, and I've used this kind of soldering iron for a very long time. It has a fairly chunky tip, but not huge. I'm going to try and do almost everything with this, just to demonstrate that you can really, even with a soldering iron like this, you can still solder SMD components fairly easily. And then the other one is also a Weller, and this is also quite old. It's called an EC1201, and this has a really quite fine tip, so you can see there that I can make a little bit of a mess there, but I can do it in quite a small area, so that's convenient. Let's just see if we can clean that off. Right, so we'll get started with this capacitor. It's probably useful to use tweezers. For this, which I didn't have at hand, but there we are. So I now have those. Bring in some solder, and we'll do, what I tend to do is put some solder onto a pad, generally the right hand pad if it's because I'm right-handed, so I find that holding the tweezers in my left hand and the soldering iron in my right hand works for me. So I'm going to put some solder on here, and then I'm going to grab hold of the component with the tweezers, and I'm going to kind of offer it up to that solder while heating the solder. So what I've done there is created a joint which is maybe not perfect, but probably quite good. Actually, it looks quite good. I don't know if you can see that. And that joint, you can either decide if that's good enough, or you can do the other end, and then you can come back and revisit that joint and improve it. So just turn the board around to make it easier to solder the other side, any position that suits you. Get that one soldered, check that that's okay, that looks good, and I'm pretty happy with both of those now. You could always go back and retouch this one just to make sure that the flux has made the solder flow properly. So that's the first component, little mark there that we can remove, which is just from some of the flux burning off. And then let's go on to put the regulator in place. So similar procedure, going to solder that big pad first. So just put a chunk of solder onto there. Probably try and use the tweezers again. Although this one's a bit fiddlier because it's a bit bigger. Okay. Not so easy to get hold of with the tweezers. I'll try and open them up a bit. There we go. Better. And get that in the right place. Oops, moved it like this. Cooling down, okay, leave it to cool down, and that seems to be in the right place. And now we'll just finish off with these three